Are you tired of plain, boring sketches? Do you want to make it look something like this? Or like this? Well, don't worry, buddy, because I've got you covered. As per usual, I'm using Clip Studio. You can use Photoshop, Psy, Krita, whatever you want to use. It won't matter. As for brushes, I'll be using this shadow airbrush, which is a default Clip Studio brush, and this hard elliptical brush from Ahmed Aldoori's Brushpack, which is free to download, by the way. I recommend using an airbrush tool, a marker tool, or something similar to give the sketch a more soft look to it. But if you don't want to use any of what I mentioned, you can just use any brush you're most comfortable using. Now, obviously, we have to sketch something. For my sketch, I decided to draw your typical cutesy anime girl. Feel free to draw whatever you like or use a reference. For this step, you can choose to have a really loose sketch for now, since you can render it more later on. Once you are finished with your sketch, you can then proceed to render. I'll be using this monoshade brush from the asset store and this watery brush along with the wet bleed blender brush, which are both default watercolor brushes in Clip Studio. So essentially what I'm going to do first is shade the sketch. During this step, you have to make sure that your values will make sense. So it would be good to have some kind of lighting scenario in mind when doing this. I didn't really do that when I was doing this. I just kind of half-assed it, did what felt right to me. So basically, TLDR, don't be like me.
KANABEATS.
Now that I'm done shading the sketch, I can then actually render it. So this will involve me blending some parts out, making some parts more defined than others. So how rendered you want the sketch to be entirely depends on you. You can have the sketch be fully rendered, or some parts rendered and some not. And because I had some time when I did this, I decided to render the sketch a bit more than usual.
2, 1, 2, 3.
Here, I'm sort of adding these bottom lashes, which I see a lot of artists doing stylistically. And I don't really tend to do this when I draw or paint, but I decided to kind of try it since this was a bit experimental for me anyways. And in the examples I actually showed earlier, those were more on the realism aspect. When it comes to art styles, obviously you don't have to do something that looks exactly like what I showed you. You can just take inspiration from that and put that into your own work. I wanted to do a realistic nose for this one, I just couldn't be bothered. Nose is kind of tricky to render. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I hate them. So I didn't really want to stress myself out by rendering the nose in this one, and I decided to leave it simple. You know, simple is better, as they say. As for the lips, I enjoy rendering lips, and they're actually really easy to do. And for final touches, I added these strands of hair, because why not? You know, it makes the sketch look pretty, and it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. And that's pretty much the entire point of this video, is to make your sketches look better than they usually do and make you look like you know what you're doing artistically. And voila, we have our finished sketch. So sketches like these usually take me around 20 to 30 minutes to do. If you're really quick, you could possibly get it done in around 10 to 15 minutes, maybe in an even lesser amount of time, who knows. But this was just a little something I wanted to share with you guys, since it's quick, it's fun, and it gives your sketches a little more pizzazz. So that's it for this video. I'll see you when I see you. Bye!